All right, welcome everybody. I just saw the countdown hand go down, so it must mean that we're on the air and on the live stream, and I know that we're good to go here because we're here. So that's good. Welcome to the 5th week of the 2024 Tuba Bach Festival. It's great to have you here. It's been a fun 4 weeks so far. This 5th week has been just a great time out and about in the community and getting to hang with these 4 incredible musicians, and I know that you're going to enjoy them as much as I did. So get ready for that. Will be fun. I want to thank some folks before we get started. Emmanuel Lutheran Church for this great place where we get to play every Saturday and Sunday. It is such a blessing to be in this space. It sounds great. It looks great. It's just fun to be here. If you would like to be here more than you are right now, well, first off, come back next weekend. That would be good. I'd appreciate that. Thursday at 3:30. The third Thursday of every month for the whole rest of the year, Barbara Pillsbury has her movie matinees, so that's coming up this Thursday. So come back on Thursday at 3:30 for that. Sunday mornings at 9:30 service time. So all of that. But we very much appreciate the hospitality of Emmanuel Lutheran Church. Fair State University has been taking good care of Tuba Bach since the beginning in 2006, as has the Michigan Arts and Culture Council and the National Endowment for the Arts. We are appreciative of the Marlis Myron Memorial Fund and Gunder and all that he does to help that. That helps us get out in the community, do some educational things. This week we were out at the Brook on Friday afternoon and had a great time out there. And then Ferris State University, Michigan State University College of Music, we're in our 5th year now of partnership with them, and it's great to have students and faculty coming up throughout the year for extra Tuba Bach concerts and things like that. So those are the thank yous for now. I'll talk more later and things like that. But the concert this weekend, Orbis Sonorum, A World of Sound. It's great to have these 4 fantastic musicians here. Please help me welcome Alirna Korieva and Jordan Anderson, Sandro Sidamonidze, and Angel Hernandez.
Hi everyone, how are you guys doing? Good? So it's my final concert today, being an artist in residence in Tuba Bach Festival. I'm so excited and I'm so sad, to be honest, because I spent the most wonderful time of my last year in here in Big Rapids. It felt like it's like a dream, because all the collaborations I had, I enjoyed so much, and seeing you guys here it means a lot to me. So thank you so much for being here, and I'm also very, very excited to be here with my friends right here. They're incredibly talented musicians that came actually from different cities, but besides that, they came from all over the world. So Sandro Sidamonidze, he flew from New York. He's MSU alumni, and now he's doing his doctoral degree at Stony Brook University in New York. Jordan Anderson also graduated from MSU, and now he's living in Detroit and pursuing his successful career as a jazz pianist. And me and Angel Hernandez, we're still at MSU. We're doctoral students, right? Masters. I thought he's doctor. Smart. So yeah, I'm really excited to bring together different backgrounds, different talents, different cultures together with you in this room. And I'm so lucky, and you guys are lucky. We're so lucky to have each other. So here's the first part of our journey. We're gonna transfer you to a Republic of Georgia that Sandro Sidamonidze presents today, and he's going to talk a little bit about the part of the section of music that we're going to perform for you. Do you want a microphone there? Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited for all of us to take a journey to Georgia today. We'll be presenting 3 songs, 3 folk traditional songs from Georgia. And they're very, very exciting. And I will talk a little bit about them right now. So maybe I'll just talk about all three of them, and then we get to enjoy it. Yeah. So a little bit about Georgia. It's nestled in the Caucasus region, in the crossroads of Eastern Europe and Western Asia. Music is deeply intertwined with Georgian life, reflecting the strength, beauty, and the spirit of its people. The first song, it's a love song. It's called Suliko. This song captures the essence of longing and devotion, telling the tale of a lover searching for Suliko, a beloved whose spirit is symbolized by a rose. It's a song that reflects both the tenderness and deep emotional strengths of the Georgian people. Next one will be a firefly song. In Georgia, we love to write songs about fireflies. Georgia is a land of stunning natural beauty, from its soaring mountains to its lush valleys. And this song captures the playful spirit of the fireflies that illuminates the Georgian summer nights. For the last song, we'll be going to mountains of Georgia, as it's nestled in the Caucasus region. And we present Shepherd's Song, a piece that resonates deeply with the pastoral roots of Georgia. Shepherding has been central to Georgian life for centuries, and the songs sung by shepherds in the hills are filled with a sense of solitude, strength, and connection to the land. So hope you enjoy.
Dzień dobry.
All right. So now we're traveling to the next destination. Does anybody knows anything about Uzbekistan? Have you guys heard about that? Some people know, some people doesn't know. Yeah. So Uzbekistan is my hometown. We used to be part of Soviet Union. Now we're independent. It's a small country with a wonderful, beautiful culture and amazing traditions that I love, that I grew up with. And it's always really warm in there. So imagine me trying to adapt to Michigan weather. Yeah, it's hard, but I love snow because I was born in January, so it's fine. I'm really excited to present part of my culture with you to you today. Sorry for my broken English. I'll try my best to express my thoughts and my feelings because it means a lot. We're a really small country, and not everybody in the world knows about it. Every time when I say I'm from Uzbekistan, I'd be like, "Oh, Pakistan." I was like, "No, not Pakistan." So yeah, it's Uzbekistan. Well, but we say Uzbekistan. That's how we say it. So I was gonna actually start, like Jordan recommended to me, like talking to you in Uzbek, be like, "Assalamu alaikum, yaxshimisiz, salaringiz yaxshimi, charchamasdan yuribsizlarmi?" But then I was like, you guys will not understand what I said. So I said, how are you guys doing? You guys doing good? All right. So I'm going to also have 3 tunes for you with the help of my incredible friends. They're going to be, I won't say imitating traditional Uzbek instruments, but like adapting their instruments that they're really, cool with. You can probably hear that. They're going to be doing incredible stuff that I enjoy hearing them do within traditional music of Uzbekistan. So the first tune, not the first tune, the whole, let's call it trilogy, okay? It's going to be about the little girl that grows into a woman, and the first song is about her getting ready for a marriage with her friends in a courtyard, just singing, sewing a hat. This hat. this particular, not exactly this hat, but all the hats like this, they are for little girls who are getting ready to be married. They wearing that like just every day too, but like when they sew it or like preparing that for a certain occasion, it means that they're gonna get married. So I'm gonna be singing in Uzbek for you, and it says in the words of the song, she says, I'm saying, not she, I'm saying that I sew the hat with the tulips in it. You probably can see like little tulips, like they're red flowers, and it's really cute. I actually just learned that it was tulip because I only knew in Uzbek. I didn't know that lale, we just figured out with Ed yesterday that lale in English is tulip, so now you know. And the song has a second section, which is a little bit faster when the girls are dancing together, like so they're so happy, they're excited, they're gonna get married and stuff. And the choir section, Sandro will be helping me with like call and response type of thing. And the second song is actual wedding called Andijan Polka. It's a dance from a little city called Andijan. It's fast and like super like energy. It has like high level of energy. And we actually, every time when I was a kid, when I was hearing this Andijan Polka, I was like, oh, we need to dance right away. And every wedding has the song playing at least one time, at least, sometimes 5 or 7. And the last section of the whole story, sadly, not always girls are married by their own decision. And after the marriage, they're having this time of realizing that they do not love the man they are with. And it's sad, and the last song means a lot to me, and I wrote the melodies in the last song like 7 or 8 years ago for a certain performance that they're still using these melodies for the performance. It's a dance performance in Uzbekistan, but I decided that I want to bring my melodies here with my friends, so we can make it sound a little bit different with new colors, with timbre, and with new sound. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave you here with knowing the story about this little girl, and you're just gonna imagine everything. Dopetkim ipakleri tılladan, ipakleri de manzari tılladan, cila birsem güllerge, cila birsem güllerge, gözün olur bezekleri tılladan, gözün olur bezekleri tılladan. Güllalala, gözün ateşiga olma onun lala. Güllalala, gözün ateşiga olma onun lala. Güllalala, dolu canım bilen nala kılır nala. Dolu canım bilen küle güzel lala. Güllalala, güllalala, dolu canım bilen nala kılır nala. Dolu canım illa küle güzel lala. Güllalala, güllalala, gözün ateşiga olma onun lala. Güllalala, gözün ateşiga olma onun lala. Güllalala, dolu canım bilen nala kılır nala. Dolu canım bilen küle güzel lala. Güllalala, güllalala, dolu canım bilen nala kılır nala. Dolu canım bilen nala güzel lala. Güllalala, güllalala.
I usually don't do this, but I'm a little tired, so I'm gonna sit. But I mean no disrespect to the audience, but I guess we're on the same level now, right? Because we're all sitting. You heard a couple pieces that didn't have explanation. So we have actually entered the portion of the set that has taken influences from my mother's heritage, which is from the wonderful country of Cameroon. It's kind of funny. I didn't learn a lot about my history in a very traditional way, and part of that is because the diaspora of Cameroon does not reflect a lot of African Americans in this country. So it took me a while to really connect with the roots and the traditions. My mother brought her culture with her when we grew up in the States together, but without really having a reference point. For example, my father has Scandinavian heritage, and some of you in this room might have some sort of Scandinavian, Irish, and Norwegian, and over time, the farther away we get from the original generation of those who came over here, the more we kind of lose those traditions. I'm like 16% Irish, but I mean, no offense, but the most Irish thing I do is go to a pub and have a drink. It's, and I love that too. But saying I'm sure we can all relate to there are points in all of our ancestries that we don't necessarily feel connected to in the same way maybe our great-great-great-grandparents had. And so I realized as a young adult, since I had a parent who was a first-generation immigrant, I should probably, figure out a way to connect with this culture. And so Alirna has provided really actually the first time I've ever played any traditional music from my mom's culture. I've spent a lot of time listening to the music, but I've never really done adaptations. The closest that I've really gotten is what we're going to hear eventually from Angel's music, which is the perspective of the Latin and Afro-Caribbean, Afro-Latin influence, which is very connected to Cameroon. But Cameroon's an interesting country. For those of you who don't know where it is, it's located in Central Africa, but culturally it's more associated with West Africa. It's in between Nigeria and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It's one of those countries that just isn't talked about, but what's interesting about it is some of you would probably know a thing or two about a place like Nigeria or Senegal or maybe Ghana, Mali, Mauritania. These are kind of African countries that are maybe a little bit more known in US history, partially because the slaves from those countries were taken over here. Therefore, that history is a little bit more prevalent in our textbooks. But Cameroon is interesting because linguistically, terrain-wise, food-wise, and music-wise, it's really kind of a fusion of every culture. There's over 150 languages spoken in the country. I believe that's the most amount of languages spoken in any country in the world. Basically, every terrain except for Antarctic terrain exists in Cameroon. So I'm talking marshes, savanna, desert, rainforest, and wetlands, drylands. My mom grew up in the southwest portion of the country I got to visit, which is very equatorial, very dry, very hot. And you can go as far north to even hit the Sahara before you leave the borders of the country, which is pretty interesting. So with that being said, Cameroon is kind of a melting pot of everything around the world. I mean, we're talking, Christian churches over there. I saw Presbyterian and Catholic churches mainly, but there were also, Muslims who felt safe to practice there. There were Jewish people who felt safe to coexist there. And there were also many people who kept the kind of polytheistic, for a lack of a better term, right, when we think about things like voodoo and things that don't really have any biblical relation but are still kind of a human thing, right? Humans have always been spiritual to some extent, and so there's a lot of fusion with kind of older cultures and the influences of the French, Polish, British, and German colonials. The name Cameroon is actually a Portuguese word which means shrimp river. Funny enough, Cameroonians love their shrimp, but I could name 10 seafood items that they like more than shrimp. So I think what happened is the Portuguese, they were using river paths to navigate West Africa, and what they were really looking for was the gold that they ended up finding in the Congo, which is just a little bit east of Cameroon. So I think what happened was they went, dang, there's only shrimp here. Okay, we're just gonna call it that so we know when we find this river with a bunch of shrimp, that's where we are. And so basically the Portuguese considered it flyover country, kind of like the state of Minnesota where I'm from. Right, if any of you follow Minnesota sports, we haven't received any national broadcasting, and really till this past year with our Timberwolves basketball team, but that's so unrelated to what I'm talking about. But in any case, so what I ended up doing is taking Alirna's final melody from her piece Cry, and what I did was I actually added a Cameroonian rhythm superimposed on top of it to kind of segue into my set, and that's why there was no pause. There was kind of this long flow, and what I was trying to do is showcasing the flexibility of Cameroonian culture by literally fusing it with a culture that has seemingly nothing to do with where it's from, but those things kind of fit. And rhythmically, she has a lot of cultural songs that I could dance to without even knowing what the heck they're saying, just because I could relate to the use of drums and the layering of polyrhythms. And the last piece that you heard is really, it's a name for a style, and that style is known as Bikutsi, and there were two real main popular styles in West Africa that preceded the Afrobeat that you might hear of today, which is really the most African music people are familiar with now, is kind of this Afro-pop digitized version, right? If you want to get the raw, you know, unsynthesized, unproduced, you're talking about what you would assume Africans to be playing, percussion and singing mostly, right? I don't really picture Africa and think about pianos and violins and stuff, right? Those are European instruments, but they've been adapted, and so this instrumentation really provides the unique opportunity to access more of that rootsy feel by being all acoustic, even though the only instrument that's really has Cameroonian roots is Angel's instruments. You know, the rest of us were added much later to the mix, but all that being said, Bikutsi is a popular form of music that is really characterized by upbeat melodies, call-in responses, and it tends to have very light themes. It tends to be very humorous. People tend to talk about, you know, like simple things like friendships or seeing someone cute that walked by or talking about some food in the market that tasted really good. And they tend to keep things pretty light. You know, for a third world country, they're surprisingly upbeat, and it really shows in their music. And the last piece I would like to share with you is the other main style of Cameroonian and West African music. And by the way, all this stuff isn't uniquely Cameroonian because it's a melting pot. So the style that I'm about to present is known as high life, and that's a style that was actually Congolese, and then adopted by Ghana and Nigeria, and then Cameroon kind of got into the picture later because they became an independent nation a little bit after. So their access to things like recordings and, you know, vinyl, they were kind of behind the rest of the world for about 40 or 50 years. So they had kind of had a fascination with things that the rest of the world got out of touch with. And so there are slight elements of things like salsa and blues and you know, West Indian folk music that are in this. But been talking enough. So this is a piece called High Life.
There we go. All right, so final section is going to be about Afro-Cuban music. So I'm actually not Cuban, I'm Mexican. I was born here. I was born in Grand Rapids, actually, and then my parents immigrated over from Mexico to the United States. But recently, I've grown this immense passion for Afro-Cuban music. So that's what I will be. That's what my section will be about for today, for the show. So Afro-Cuban music. There's a lot to talk about, but I will condense it down. So Afro-Cuban music really encompasses a lot of many diasporas, mainly African and the Spanish diasporas, as well as a little bit of Indian and the Middle East. It really spans quite wide around the world. From the African diaspora, we have a lot of central elements that you see not only in this kind of music, but in all over. One of them being call and response. You're going to see a lot of that between Alirna and Sandro. You even saw some of that in Jordan's music, in Alirna's music, a lot of call and response, a lot of back and forth. Sometimes that's referred to as corro soneo or corro pregón in more recent developments of salsa music. But it's all the same kind of stuff, and it all goes back to the African diaspora. Another thing brought over from the African diaspora is the instrumentation, being the drums, the congas, the bongo. All of that came over from the Congo Kingdom, all over Africa, through the slave trade, specifically coming out of West Africa. And not only the drum, but dance as well, being a very central part of not only the music, but the way of living over there. And that's not only seen there, but throughout all of our cultures, all of our music. Dance is really a big key part of it, and the connection that it can bring people to people and people with the music as well. Along with that, Spanish diaspora brought a lot of melodic and harmonic traditions as well as instrumentation. The tres is sort of like a guitar-like instrument. It has 2 sets of 3 strings. It was later developed into the cuatro, which is 4 sets of 2 strings, and then later the 6-string guitar that was developed. And then we also have some Indian influences as well, being the flute and lots of different vocal styles. Those are less apparent in Afro-Cuban music and more apparent in music like Brazilian music or Western South or in Western South America. But Africa and the Spanish diaspora is very influential to a lot of Afro-Cuban music. I'm going to talk about the second piece first, called Vieja Luna, which means old moon in English. Vieja Luna is in a bolero style, which is more of a slower ballad-like kind of style, which was first kind of developed by trovadores, which were essentially traveling musicians that traveled all alongside the eastern part of Cuba. And bolero styles usually have to do with love and romance and emotion, different feelings, and expressing yourself. The first song that we're going to be playing is called Gallo de Morron, and this phrase actually has to do, well, before I talk about the phrase, talk about the style, the son style, which is one of the most influential styles in the evolution of Cuban music. It essentially developed through this sort of marriage between Spanish peasant work songs and the music of African slaves. So it was a sort of a marriage between those two. And then again, a lot of call and response in this style. And then the phrase sort of, I would say, kind of connects to a lot of the music and kind of a central theme that you're, central theme of preservation, connection. The phrase has to do with pride, and essentially being prideful in your culture, even in defeat, even when horrible things happen in history. There's still that connection of music and humanity throughout all of these cultures, and I'm sure at least one person in here was unfamiliar with one of these cultures or one of these styles or one of these pieces before today, and I think it's awesome that we get to share this history, this culture with you guys, and share this love of music with everyone. So those are the couple pieces that we have for you to kind of close out the show. All right, hope everyone's having a good time.
That was pretty fun, wasn't it? Oh my goodness. So that's really not the end. Now it's my turn to talk for just a second. Hey now. Wow. So just some thanks again to all of you for being here, and we'll get back to that. All of our sponsors and folks that take care of us, and I mentioned Ferris and Michigan State and the Marlis Myron Fund and Michigan Arts and Culture Council and the National Endowment, so all of those for sure. Going through this whole book, you'll find lots of ad space and sponsor space and things like that. Please go out and about in the community and stop in and thank those people for supporting Tuba Bach and the arts in our community. It means a lot to them to know that you notice that they do that. And then they'll keep on doing that, and then I appreciate that. And then there's a couple pages in there of folks like you, and I appreciate you all very much for making this happen 19 years now without having to charge for concerts and things like that. So we don't charge you to come in. We kind of like to charge you to get out, if that's possible. The donation tubas are there by the door. We appreciate anything that goes in there. There's a Venmo code on the front of the program, brand new, getting all techie and stuff like that. I don't know how it works, but somebody does, so that's pretty cool. So you scan that and play with your phone and give us money, and that's cool. There's envelopes out there. There's all sorts of ways to help support Tuba Bach, and we appreciate all of that very much. Mom's cookies are in the yay, important part of Tuba Bach. Yep. Ta-da! So please, hang out in there and eat some snacks and talk to these folks afterwards. That would be great. Jeff Gabalis is over here at Command Central, help making the live streams happen. We appreciate that. Steve is somewhere, Steve is somewhere back in Radio Land making his part work, and Paul is back there running a camera, and other Jeff, wherever other Jeff may be, is somewhere with a camera. He's very sneaky that way. We appreciate their help, and Jane and Adriana get you in the door, all those things. I want to take just a second to talk about, so it's not every year, every few years, we do this artist in residence thing, and it has been so wonderful to be able to work with Alirna over the last 12 months. She's absolutely fascinating. I think, with all the outreach concerts and all the everything that we do, I think today is, the 15th concert that I've been able to do with Alirna here in Big Rapids. I know it. That's exciting.
Were you counting?
I was. I counting down. Yeah. So 15 amazing, wonderful shows. She's so talented and so diverse, and been able to do world music-y things and classical music things and jazz singing and all sorts of stuff. And she's just so exciting and willing to do all kinds of things, whether it's Tuba Bach concerts like this, or outreach things at schools and nursing homes, or she came up and we played for all the mayors of Michigan, well, a lot of the mayors of Michigan, like 60 of the mayors of Michigan that were all in town for a conference, and did a special concert for them. So anyway, just want to say it makes me sad that this is the last one, but it's not really the last one. We'll have her back for some stuff, I'm sure. So, but a huge thank you to Alirna Korieva. So, and then And she put this whole concert together. This was one that she, there were some where I kind of said, hey, this is what we're going to do. And there were some that said, what should we do? And then this concert was, Alirna, put this together and just tell me what to do. And this has been so much fun to be able to work with her, but also the amazing Mr. Jordan Anderson over here. And Angel Hernandez back here in the percussion section. And apparently the extra versatile, I thought he was just a cellist, but now he's a percussionist, Sandro Sidamonidze. So, yeah. One last final hurrah. What is this? It's a pachanga. It's amazing cool is what it is. Have fun, hold on to your shorts, here we go.
Before we start, let's give one round of applause for Howard.